Every developer meets the command line. Docker containers, build pipelines, Linux servers, cloud VMs. If you've never learned it, now's the time. So in the last episode, I talked about how you could use the shell, either on your phone or on your laptop. This time I'm going to explain what it's actually all about. So these commands will work on whatever your device is. I'm going to use my Linux laptop. So the window is called the terminal, and inside the shell is running. Also got a command line interface, but shell is rather shorter. So it spends most of its life doing nothing. It's just sitting there waiting for you, like a faithful dog or Jeeves.
Shall I run your baths, yeah?
Thank you, Jeeves, yes.
Standing in the doorway as the master comes home. Yeah, it's waiting for you to do something. It's what's called a REPL loop. It reads, evaluates what you write, and then prints something back if necessary. It's very quiet, so it'll only really tell you if something goes wrong or if it's got something to say. If something goes fine, then it won't say anything. So I'm going to set the variable distance to 200. It's worked, so it hasn't replied anything. It's read what I've written, it's evaluated it, it's printed in the output, doesn't need to print in the output, and it comes back to me, and this is the loop. We take it in turns. I write, the computer responds. I write, the computer responds. It's a turn-based conversation. In its variable tables, it's written 200. The distance is 200. To get it back again, we use the command echo, and we go $distance. Dollar is a lookup operator. It's quite a textual processing language, is the shell. So it's a little bit opposite to programming languages you might be used to. If you're not used to any programming languages, don't worry if you don't understand it, but you might learn something. So say in Python, for example, distance is 200. Then if I type distance, it knows I'm talking about the reference to 200. And if I want the actual string distance, then I need to put it in quotes. In shell, it's the other way around. So think of it more like the template language. So if I do print, so that's more what it's like. There's a template language as well that's even closer. So you've got a template like that. Then that's basically what the shell is doing. Obviously, if you don't know Python, don't worry about this. Oh, we can do it in JavaScript the same, couldn't we? Let's do so let's say in JavaScript we go distance is 200, and then we do console log distance is. That's much more like the shell. You can think of it as a textual template or a text processing. So basically the other way around to the C type programming languages. More like Perl, which is a programming language which had nice sigils. When you press up in the terminal, it goes through the command history, and all the commands are stored in the history, which is just a file on the file system. I'm going to take another turn. I'm going to say miles per gallon is 50. In England, we're completely surrounded by water, so there is thousands of miles of beaches.
The miles of flat golden sand along the seafront have brought holidaymakers in their thousands to Weston-super-Mare since early Victorian times.
But in the Midlands, we're kind of high up, away from all the sea. So you kind of have the beach run. So from the Midlands to the sea is about 100 miles. And if you want to do the beach run and come back in a day, that's about 200 miles. So that's why I've got a distance of 200 miles. But how much does it cost? So let's say the fuel price, 700 pence a gallon. Then we can say gallons is, so that gallons that we need is distance divided by miles per gallon. So we again use the dollar operator to look up how many gallons is stored. So in the in the variable tables, according to gallons, next to gallons is stored 4. So we need 4 gallons of petrol to get to the beach and back from the Midlands. But how much does that cost? So we can do, so in Shell, when we want to do maths, we stick it in double brackets. Gallons times the fuel price is the cost. So 2,800 pence, £28 to get to the beach and back.
The sun's gonna shine on everything.
So knowing how to use the keyboard with the shell can save you an enormous amount of time. So first we talked about up and down, go through the history. You can also, shorter way to go through the history is by using Ctrl+R. So if I press Ctrl+R, it does what's called a reverse I search. So then I can start typing something like distance equals, and I get that command back. So often, if you use a lot of the same commands, you can just do Ctrl+R, start typing, and it will complete the command for you. Another way is pressing tab. So say I type EC and I press tab, it gives me 2 possible completions. I want echo, so I type H, then I press tab again and it auto completes it for me. Get in the habit of using tab. It's one of the most important productivity boosts in the shell. A really important command is man, which shows the manual. So say we want to look at what the sleep command does.
Fall deep asleep.
We type man sleep and it says sleep delay for a specified amount of time. It says by default it's going to sleep for S seconds, M for minutes, H for hours, or D for days. And as you see, also a lot of commands have arguments like help and version and more complicated arguments, but often help will also give you a shorter version of the manual, and then version might tell you the version number of the command. Each command's like a little program, and they are batched into piles. So core utils is like a pile of these little programs. And these little programs, another word for program is binary. So they're stored in a bin directory. On Linux, it's user bin. ls lists files. So I get all the ones in the user bin. And they're all the main built-in commands.
Eyelids closed.
So sleep. Say we want bash to sleep, to delay. Then we can say sleep. And now that will sleep for 100 seconds. How do what do we do if we don't want to wait 100 seconds? Well, we press Ctrl+C. Ctrl+C sends an interrupt signal and stops whatever the shell is doing. So if you only remember one thing in this video, remember that Ctrl+C quits whatever you're doing right now. It quits the current command and puts a little circumflex C to show you that the command has been issued. The command line interface started in the 1950s, and then the kind of definitive version was made in 1969. So this predates Windows and Apple Mac by a couple of decades. So if you're wondering why Ctrl+C is quit rather than copy like in Windows, well, this is because Ctrl+C existed for like 40 years before Windows was invented. But what if I want to actually copy and paste something? Well, there are actually line editing commands. People also call them Emacs commands or read line commands. If I want to cut the text from here, then it's actually Ctrl+K, which actually stands for kill. So, as I said, in the 50s and 60s when these were invented, K meant kill, which took that and put it in the kill ring. A clipboard in a GUI program, you can store one item, but the kill ring, you can actually store several things. So you can cut loads of items and you can get back whatever item you want. So instead of being a single clipboard with a single item, it's actually a ring of them that you can circulate around. Anyway, but that's why it's called kill, because it goes into the kill ring. To get it back, you yank it from the kill ring with Ctrl+Y. So before cut and paste were invented was kill and yank. The original was called kill and yank. And then when Bill Gates came along and invented Windows, he didn't know the existing ones, so he just made up his own one. But these existed before. So say I only want this bit, I should be able to do U, and that cuts backwards. That's like a reverse cut. So if I yank it back, so if I want to cut everything left of this point, so my cursor's on T here. If I want to take everything left of it, I do Control U, and if I want to get it back, I can Control Y for yank. But if I want everything after it, then I kill, Control K. So when you have a long command or a long string, to get to the top of the line, you do Control A. To get to the end of the line, you do Control E. So let's imagine we made a complicated command that's taking a long time. For now, we'll just use sleep. So that's doing something. So we can do Ctrl+C to stop the program, but we also we can pause it by doing Ctrl+Z. So Ctrl+Z pauses the program and puts it in the background, or in the shell's language, stopped, but it's not like permanently stopped. It's paused basically. And then to get it back, you just type the command FG for foreground, and now it's back again, carrying on. And what we can also do is we can do Ctrl+Z, which stops it and puts it in the background. But if we want it in the background but still running, we can do BG, which now does it in the background. And if we want to start a command and put it in the background, it's kind of giving it away here, we use the ampersand. So if I want to have a sleep command and put it in the background, I do the ampersand, it runs it, puts it in the background, and gives it a process number. So you can have several of these and you can refer to them by process numbers. If I do, for example, kill, that stops that program by the process number and it's been terminated. If you've just got one thing, you don't have to bother remembering the number. So say I do sleep, I've got that one, and then I put it in the background. I can just do kill %1, which will kill the last backgrounded task. So I think that's pretty good. If there's anything unclear, you can come back and watch this again. But if you've made it this far, you've already learned more than most shell tutorials give you before throwing tons of commands at you. You now know how to find your shell, what it is, how to control it, how to get yourself out of trouble when things go wrong. Now it's time to start using it. Click here and watch the next video in the series, Files and Directories. Once you've watched that, you'll be able to navigate your computer, create files and folders, move them around, copy them, rename them, and delete them entirely from the command line. These are the skills you'll use every day when working with Linux servers, containers, build pipelines, cloud infrastructure, and development tools. That's the foundation for everything else we're going to learn. So click that and I'll see you over there. Actually, if you're watching this in the first week of the series, Files and Directories isn't out yet. So for now, I'm pointing at the video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy most. Please subscribe to see when the next video arrives. Thanks for watching.